If you're having a conversation of the 10 greatest black welterweights of all times, in my opinion, you must include Esteban Gallard. He was better known as Kid-Charol. Born in Sago La Grande, Cuba, 1901. He died October 7th, 1929, in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He was 28 years of age when he passed away due to tuberculosis, and in my opinion, the greatest world lightweight champion of all times. Old Master Joe Gans would suffer from the same disease, 1910. In 1929, the year of the death of Gallard, would be the year that the Harlem Thunderbolt, Harry Smith, would become the colored middleweight champion when he would dethrone the pride of Harlem, Jack McVeigh. They fought in the Athletic Club in Harlem, New York. Oh, what a much anticipated contest that was. Esteban Gallard would stand 5'8.5" He weighed 146 to 158 pounds. He would win an amateur national middleweight championship contest. Now, the majority of his fights were in Cuba and South Central America, Panama, Peru, and Chile. He would turn professional May 20th, 1922, against Fabio, very popular name, in Argentina. 1923, Kid-Charol would draw 10 rounds with Enrique Ponce de Leon in Cuba, who was a well-known veteran during those years. But when he faced Clemente Sanchez in Havana, Cuba, and scored a 10-round victory, that did it for him. His photo was plastered in all the barbershops and on the side of all the buildings that the eyes can see. And you didn't have a boxing conversation without the name of Kid-Charol in it, because he was the guy who everyone felt as though he would bring home a world championship title. After 17 bouts, Kid-Charol would become the Cuban middleweight champion May 15th, 1924. And he would defeat Homer Robinson April 1st, 1924 in Havana, Cuba. He would stop him in 5 rounds. Now, Homer Robinson weighed 159 pounds and Charlo weighed 152 pounds. And that's why the Harlem Thunderbolt, Harry Smith, wanted to face Esteban Gallard, because they both met Homer Robinson. Homer Robinson was a well-experienced fighter. Both these men would get past him. And it was only right for those two to fight. And that's a legacy fight that never happened. And it's unfortunate. And that's a lesson for all future fighters to take. Because these two men were outstanding fighters. Harry Smith and Kid-Charol. Charlo would defeat Eladio Herrera by knockout. Would also take on Clemente Sanchez in Havana, Cuba between June 7th and September 6, 1924. Between March 6, 1926 and July 4th, 1926. He would defeat Panama Joe Gans in 12 rounds. And then a southpaw sensation, Larry Estridge, in 15 rounds. Both in Havana, Cuba. Both men were the colored middleweight champions. In fact, Larry Estridge would dethrone Panama Joe Gans for that colored middleweight championship strap. And Larry Estridge's title would be extinct when the first black middleweight champion, Theodore Tiger Flowers, would become the world middleweight champion, 1926, New York's Madison Square Garden, when he would defeat the Pittsburgh Windmill, Harry Greb. Esteban Gallard would defeat Alejandro Trias, Argentina, in 5 rounds. April 30th, 1929, he would draw 12 rounds with California's Dave Shade. He would end his career with a record of 44 total bouts, 34 total wins, 15 wins by decision, 19 knockouts, 6 draws, and 4 losses. Now, the fighters who admired Esteban Gallard was Black Bill, Eladio Valdez, Kid-Charol, the Cuban Bong Bong, and Raymond Castillo. And why would they admire him so much? The fighters that Esteban Gallard fought were Kid-Charol twice, Enrique Ponce de Leon, Clemente Sanchez twice, Eladio Filo, Lester Laura, Chuchu Morales, Jimmy Finley. He also took on Homer Robinson and Panama Joe Gans, Rafael Fililo Rodriguez, Willie Murray, Peter Sung, Larry Estridge, Alex Dilley, Alejandro Trias, Eladio K.O. Bristi, and Dave Shade. That's just a tip of the iceberg of the fighters that he fought. To have a short career, tuberculosis would take his life. He had a lot more work to do. Perhaps, just perhaps, he could have fought for the middleweight championship of the world. Oh. Now, one last comment on the Dave Shade versus Kid-Charol bout, April 30th, 1929, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, which ended, by the way, in a 12-round draw. It was a hard-fought contest. Manager Mario Castillo was hard-pressed to continue with the contest regardless of Charlo's illness, perhaps one last payday. You see, Kid-Charol was ill in the last 10 bouts before he passed away. And his manager knew it. But he was dealing with a lot of debt in his personal life. And he needed Esteban Gallard to clean up the mess. Dave Shade faced multi-time world welterweight champion, boxing marble, Jack Britton, middleweight Jock Malone, Harlem's future world colored middleweight champion, Pride of Harlem, Jack McVeigh, the world welterweight champion, Pete Latzo, and the light heavyweight from Buffalo, New York, Jimmy Slattery, the Nebraska Wildcat, 8 Huskins, and heavyweight Al Gaynor, Sergeant Sammy Slaughter. They all avoided Harry Smith. And manager Mario Castillo was so depressed over the death of Kid-Charol and the loss of income that he committed suicide because of the accumulated debt. Esteban Gallard has been placed on the list of 10 greatest black welterweights of all times. There's 3 spots left. We'll find out who they will be appointed to. I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff series. All great fights and all great fighters would never be forgotten on my channel. Thanks for watching. Esteban Gallard, Kid-Charol, what a wonderful fighter he was.